Hi, this is Andrew from EPAR. Welcome to the first of a new series of tutorials about getting to know EPAR Connect, how to use the system, and how all of the features work. This video is about getting started with the new EPAR Connect account. We'll go through a general overview of the interface, we'll set up some groups, some worker types, and we'll add some new users to the system. First, we'll log in, and what we're greeted with is the user dashboard. Okay, so I'm logged in here as Fred Smith. This is just a user I've created in an example account. So here we've got example golf club. We've got a bit of a snazzy logo here. On the dashboard, this is where Fred Smith, the user, is going to get alerted of all of the things that he needs to do within the system. Okay, for example, if he gets sent a message, it'll show up here with a little counter 1 there. If he's assigned a task, if he's required to do some training, if he's got some information items he needs to review, if he's been invited to a meeting, or if he needs to be assessed for competency on an item of equipment here in plant competency. Okay, so those will all show up in the dashboard. You'll also see the admin menu. Now this user, Fred Smith. He's an administrator of the system, so he sees this admin tab up here. Now, if he was just a typical user, he wouldn't be able to see this tab or access the admin menu. So right through the admin menu, you've got all of the management features of the system. So you'll be able to go in and create a training record, for example, manage contractors, add new workers, all those sorts of things. This one here, improvements register, you can't click on this one. This is a feature that we've been working on to build an improvements register within the system, and it's just not available yet. You've also got your logout button up here, your help icon. So if we click this, it takes you to a dedicated help center. Okay, so at any stage you can just click on the question mark, go in and log a technical support request. So when you create one of these requests, an email gets sent to me or the team here at EPAR, and we can jump in and have a look at your account and help you out. Okay. So what you'll also see up here on the dashboard is this little funny looking menu up here. It's called the dashboard menu button. Okay. At the moment, there's no features in here, so we'll add a few of those here in this video. Okay, so groups. Let's get started with some groups. If we want to add some groups to the system, okay, groups are typically work groups. Okay, so in a typical clubhouse golf course maintenance scenario, okay, so we've got a golf club, we're going to need a couple of groups here. So I've just put in work group here for one. We might go in and edit that. So we might call this group the clubhouse. So there can be as many groups as you need in an account. It just depends on how your workplace is set up. You know, you could have 5 work groups, 10 work groups, or just 2. You know, for this video, we'll just keep it simple. We'll have 2 in there. So we'll add another group, course maintenance. Okay, so go back to view groups. Now we've got our 2 groups here. We've got our clubhouse group for all clubhouse employees, and we've got our course maintenance group for all of the course staff in here. Okay, so once we've got that set up, we can start to add users into those groups. Okay, what we might do first is go into Category Manager. Now this is where we set up our worker types. Worker types are basically your employees within the system and the job roles that they do in your organization. So we've got a couple here already: manager, volunteer. What we might do is add a few more specific ones. So we'll go in and add, let's add a superintendent to the system. Now these checkboxes here, what these do is provide additional functionality for this type of user within the system. Okay, so for any superintendents within the system, we can turn on hazard reporting, incident reporting, plant competency assessment, the ability to view documents up here in your dashboard menu, group training, inductions, safety data sheets, and inspections. So we'll go through each one of those in a little bit more detail. But for now, for the superintendent, we'll turn them on. Okay, let's create another worker type. We might create a golf professional. Okay, so we would like our golf professional to do hazard reporting, incident reporting, and be able to access some safety data sheets within the system. Okay, so we'll turn that on. All right, so there's just a few examples. We can add as many of those as you need. And typically in an account, we'll set all this stuff up for you and you can just go in and edit it as you need. So in this list here, you'll see a general overview of the types of workers that we have in the system and their permissions. So green indicates the fact that they have that functionality, and red indicates that they don't. Okay, so the account that I've created here, Fred Smith, he's a manager. So what I might do is go in and change his permissions. Okay, and we'll turn everything on for Fred. We'll let him do everything so I can show you the save. Now, one thing with the system is if we go up here, it's not live yet. So for these changes to be live or to be applied to this account, you just have to log out and then log back in again. So we'll do that. Then we log back in. Okay, so now you'll see all of these elements here are available to do. So things like viewing documents that are in the system, we don't have any in there yet. We'll add those as we go. Some group training, ability to do group training, ability to log a new hazard report, incident report, to do inductions, to complete inspections. So they're all here available now for this worker type. So if you wanted to change that at any point, you just go back in to Category Manager and you can update it there. Okay, so what we'll do is Fred, I think he's pretty lonely in this system. There's no one else in there to keep him company. So what we might do is add some more workers. So we just go into Admin menu, Workforce Manager, and add a new worker. Okay, so you'll see here there's some fields that have a little asterisk. And what that indicates is that that's a required field. So you need at minimum to fill out these fields. So we'll just add a new user to the system, Peter Jones. We'll make him active. Okay, so if you have a user in the system and then they're no longer working, say at your golf club, you make them inactive. Okay, what that does, it doesn't remove them from the system. It keeps all their data within the system, but it just, they don't show up as an active user within your system. Okay, if they do come back at any point, you can then just go into the system and make them an active again. So they'll be able to log in and use the system. The start date, let's just say that's today. Okay, worker type, we might make Peter Jones the superintendent, and he's going to be part of the course maintenance work group. Okay, so that's where you add that in. Now we're going to give Peter a username. Let's just keep it simple and do Peter Jones. Okay, email frequency, we're going to set it as it happens. Now you've got a couple of options here. As it happens means that you get an email instantly. So whenever something happens in the system, say you get assigned a task, or you're requested to review an information item, something like that, you'll get a notification instantly. So we recommend it's set to as it happens, and then that way you get the best use of the system. Access level, so here we've got either a user, so if we want this person to be just a user and not an administrator, we'll select user and they won't be able to see the admin. But because this role, he's a superintendent, what we'll do is we'll make him the group administrator. So he's the administrator of this work group here. Okay, so he'll be able to see all of the employees within his group and access all of the data within his work group. Okay, we want to invite Peter to the system and set him up as a user. So what we're also going to need to do is put his email address in here. So I've just set up an email address for testing and using this system for the videos. So we'll just put that in. Okay, now there's two buttons at the bottom. If we want to invite Peter to the system, we're going to save and notify. If we just save, it's going to add him to the system, that's fine, but he won't get that notification to say, hey, come and use the system. All right, so so we can save it. Okay, we check our emails, nothing happens. But if we want to invite him to the system, we just go back in, Peter Jones, save and notify. Now the system will send Peter an email. So we check this email address and look, we've got a couple here. So this one, okay, there's two emails that come out initially. One is the account activity, which is basically saying that there has been some activity in your account. Peter, your details were updated in ePark Connect. And also, we have our welcome email. So this is the first one that goes out to all new users in the system and welcomes them and to log in and create a new password. So here we go. Hi, Peter Jones. Please find your details below. Okay, this is great. Now we look at our details. You'll see here there's a few fields which we left. Okay, if all these details were filled out, all of these would be accurate here. So they're just coming up with the default item here. So to create a new password, so Peter wants to use the system. Okay, I'm going to log in and I'm going to set this link here and create myself a new password. Okay, so I'm going to close this tab off now because this tab I'm logged in as Fred Smith. So I'll just close this one. Now this one I'm logging in as Peter Jones. Okay, so my password, I'll just put a simple password in for now. Retype it. Okay, so now whenever a user uses this ePark Connect for the first time, they're required to review and agree to the login terms and conditions. This is fairly standard stuff. Basically goes through all of the legal details about using the system, and it's all fairly standard stuff. So for the moment, we'll agree. Okay, and now we're logged in as Peter Jones. Okay, so this is his dashboard here. So we'll wrap this one up. What we've covered is we've had a general overview of the interface. We've been through and we've had a look at all of the main elements. We've got the dashboard here, we've got the admin menu, we've got our dashboard menu here. Okay, we've got our little help item here. We've set up some groups, we've set up some worker types, and we've added a new user to the system. So in future videos, we'll explore all of these details and features in greater detail. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.